Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Welcome, one and all. Thank you so much for being here. Let me see who was here first. Lydia Washington, thank you so much for being here. Gwendolyn Daniels. Let me see why. Anyway, I'll just get to everybody. Um, let me bring up my slides, which of course I was working on to the absolute last minute. Um, hmm? Okay. So much shade. So much tea. Shade and tea. Well, you can sit in the shade and sip your tea. There we go. Okay, it's coming up. All right. Wow, there's barely anybody here. I wonder. I guess I shouldn't be surprised, should I? That's okay. We like an intimate crowd. All right, there we go. A little bit of a palace snub. Won't be the first, won't be the last. What else? Uh, Denise Welch, love her. And of course, what is it? Anika, Rihanna Mills. Yeah, Rihanna Mills. Rihanna. Okay. I always want to say Rihanna, but it's Rihanna, right? And let's see who else. And some other stuff. Anyway, let's get to it, shall we? Oh yeah, let's see where Meghan is with the. I'm going to check that really quick. I haven't looked at the number for a while. How many followers does she have? Okay, it's still at 4 million, just over 4 million. Okay, very good. What about the baby mama? Let's see how baby mama is doing. Okay, how do I bring up that number again? The baby mama dance? Okay, that's been up for 7 weeks. Okay, let me try that again. Oh man, I can't see the number. And you guys have told me how to do it too. Okay, let me try that again. The baby mama dance. See if I can find it again. Well, it is not showing. Oh, maybe because I'm on the wrong thing. Okay. Yeah, I can't get it to show. All right, no matter then. But if someone can check it for me, I'd appreciate it. All right. Oh, by the way, I don't think we'll be here more than an hour. Want some tea? Herbal or verbal? Alex, I'll take the verbal for 100. Good news! I finished my cancer treatment yesterday. Please thank all squatties for their prayers. I love you all, Dorothy Ross. So that is a message to you all from Dorothy Ross. She has finished her cancer treatment, so um, I think that deserves a bell. There we go. And well, our prayers for the best possible recovery from because I hear that takes a lot out of you. So best possible recovery. All right. Yeah, that is good news. Matter of fact, let us do this. Okay. And who knows? At this hour, Dorothy Ross may join us. Let's hope she does. Okay. And well, Denise Welch, I'm going to play a little soundbite for you because apparently it's been a while since Denise Welch has reminded people that she is definitely, I think she said, ringing the bell for Harry and Meghan, and that she is not happy with the way that they have been treated, not only by the British tabloid media, but you can add the American media to that same list of people that have wronged the Sussexes for the almighty dollar or pound or euro. Okay, let me cue that up for you. Connie Bomber. Hey, Connie Bomber. Okay. Do you mean to tell me I did not save that? Oh, yes, I did. Yes, I did. Okay.
As of Prince Harry and Meghan. Jasmine M wants to know the current opinion that the UK general public has of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. Can you speak on behalf of your fellow countrymen?
Well, I have a very different view to a lot of people. And on the show that I do at home, Loose Women, I'm like the only person who flies the Harry and Meghan flag. And I don't know them. I've met a few of the royals over the years, but I've never met them. But I just think that the amount of bullying by the press, British and American, that woman gets. Remember, she was in those rooms, a lot of them, you know, as a young Black American woman. She had a big voice in UNICEF and in the United Nations. She was in a lot of those rooms before Harry. And I just kind of try to fly the flag a bit. You've got to remember that this is a boy who was, you know, was forced at 12 years old to walk behind his mother's coffin. You know, his dad had been unfaithful. And he grew up in that world. And I think for him to want to say his piece is something quite admirable. And so I kind of think that they're in love. He's never been unfaithful to her. You know, the abuse she got for saying that she was mentally ill. I suffered severe postnatal depression, hospitalized after I had Matthew. So I really empathize and sympathize with somebody who was open about that. And she got ridiculed and hated. It's like, what has she really done?
Right.
You know, and every single day she is battered. So I think.
Jasmine M wants to know the current opinion that the UK general public has of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. And can you speak on behalf of your fellow country?
Okay. So sorry about that. I'm going to play that again, by the way. I'm going to play it again later. Because I just loved hearing it. And you guys, I cannot say this often enough. Not everybody in the UK feels like that. Unfortunately, not even most people, not even most. But unfortunately, the Daily Mail, among other tabloids, have become the face of Britain. It is that thing that is most identified with Britain, especially for an older audience like myself. I know where the Daily Mail comes from. It's not this big global newspaper. It is a British tabloid that has pretty much overtaken the English world, the English language world. And so for that reason, that Rupert Murdoch brand of tabloid newspaper, of so-called journalism, along with the Fox News and the Wall Street Journal and the, is it Newsweek too? There's so many of them. This is a very narrow window of time. And when I say that, it's because the baby boomers, the baby boomers, at some point, there's going to be fewer and fewer baby boomers who remember the prestige of these different newspapers and news channels. And you're going to have a whole generations of people that are going to grow up knowing how awful these news agencies are. And that's really too bad. I'm not happy about that. I feel sad about that because they won't have anyone to trust but other content creators. And as much as I, am a content creator myself, there's a lot of content creators that are, being paid off by certain interests to say certain things. And so in some ways, they're no better than the, tabloids. But by and large, if a tabloid can get into the spaces that the content creators are in, then of course they're going to taint that as well. You're going to have people that work for those agencies that will not present themselves as being, part of those groups or those companies. So yeah, it's going to be a mess. But the thing is, legacy media, their reach is getting shorter, not longer. Their audience is getting smaller, not bigger. So that's the only good thing I could say, is that Rupert Murdoch, among others, are running out of audience. Their audience is shrinking, and same for Daily Mail. Lord Nappyhead's paper, their audience is shrinking. So the racially ambiguous, that is, owner of the Daily Mail, he'll probably still be a billionaire. Don't get me wrong. He's not going to go broke, but they're just going to have to work even harder and tell bigger lies to maintain interest in their product. But at some point, that is going to get exhausting. And a lot of people are already ignoring them. So that's why they started charging money. Because if they were dependent upon the ad revenue alone, their ship would have sank a long time ago. A long time ago. And by the way, Denise did mention the loose women. Who would have thought they would have, taken away so much of loose women? What have they got? Just the occasional, is it once a week, or what's left of that show? Anything? Of course, I believe that the reason why loose women are in jeopardy is not just because of the ever shrinking audience, not because they have, so their credibility is pretty bad. There's other reasons why loose women has began to shrink, or their audiences is fading away. It's because there's a lot of people that have invested in these 4K televisions, and as long as you're watching them, like if you're looking at them on some old, burner phone from back in the day, you're fine. But if you watch them in, high definition, 4K, plasma, quattro, whatever they call it, then it becomes increasingly difficult to watch them. They began to look like that scary family next door to the Flintstones. So except for when Denise is on there, then she can make up for those deficits. But without Denise, this is what you got. You know, even when she's there, it's kind of hard to soften up the rest of the panel. But they're pretty gruesome. They are the gruesome women, especially if Denise isn't there. So yeah, it's too bad, but we ain't going back. We got digital televisions, smart TVs, and yeah, and our televisions won't play dumb because of, you know, this. Maybe they will put some filter on there so you can not have to deal with it. But until then, HD 4K is not your friend. All right. So yeah, there we go. Anyway, bravo to Denise Welch. Refuses to stay silent defending Meghan and Harry. So yeah, she has been an ally for a long time, and also she has gone through the tabloid media abuse herself. And gosh, I'm trying to think, was she the one who was she the one who had accused her sister, or I can't remember, but I believe they bugged her hotel room or something like that, the tabloids. It's just incredible that more people have not gone to jail for that. I cannot believe that more people have not gone to jail for that. It is incredible, breathtaking that they seemingly have just gotten away with it. I think maybe 2 people went to jail out of all of the stuff that happens. And that hoghead Piers Morgan can look people in the eye and deny having any knowledge of it, let alone having participated in it, is breathtaking. It really is. So, so let's get into this article, shall we? Let's get into this article. All right, so Denise Welch has never been afraid to speak her mind, whether on social media or live television. The longtime Loose Women panelist calls out media hypocrisy, defends the underdog, and questions power. Her unwavering support for Prince Harry and Meghan Sussex stands out in the British celebrity culture that often plays it safe. Welch does not. Her reason for backing the couple goes beyond trend or sympathy. They are rooted in principle, lived experience, and a sharp eye for injustice. Oh, wow. See, Feminegra, I love their writing. I hope you guys are, I would suggest that when you start your day, go to Feminegra and check out the articles they have available. It's not just Harry and Meghan. She knows the cost of mental health struggles. Denise Welch has been open about her own battle with depression. When Meghan revealed her self-harm thoughts in her Oprah interview, Welch did not dismiss or deflect. She related as someone who has faced public scrutiny while navigating private pain. She understood the stakes, that empathy drove her to push back on narratives and mocked or minimalized Meghan's emotional truth. Welch knows how headlines can cut deeper than any royal protocol. She has lived it. She has lived it. As a matter of fact, I'm going to play that again right now. I want to play that again right now, just in case you just joined us. One more time.
Jasmine M wants to know the current opinion that the UK general public has of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. And can you speak on behalf of your fellow countrymen?
Well, I have a very different view to a lot of people. And on the show that I do at home, Loose Women, I'm like the only person who flies the Harry and Meghan flag. And I don't know them. I've met a few of the royals over the years, but I've never met them. But I just think that the amount of bullying by the press, British and American, that woman gets. Remember, she was in those rooms, a lot of them, you know, as a young Black American woman. She had a big voice in UNICEF and in the United Nations. She was in a lot of those rooms before Harry. And I just kind of try to fly the flag a bit. You've got to remember that this is a boy who was, you know, was forced at 12 years old to walk behind his mother's coffin. You know, his dad had been unfaithful. And he grew up in that world. And I think for him to want to say his piece is something quite admirable. And so I kind of think that they're in love. He's never been unfaithful to her. You know, the abuse she got for saying that she was mentally ill. I suffered severe postnatal depression, hospitalized after I had Matthew. So I really empathize and sympathize with somebody who was open about that. And she got ridiculed and hated. It's like, what has she really done?
Right.
You know, and every single day she is battered. So I don't.
Okay. Oh, man. You know, I just wish that more people would ask that same question. What has she done? What has she done? What is the offense? Welch's post shows her deep frustration with the British press. She has called out the Daily Mail, Good Morning Britain News, the royal commentators who seem to build careers on berating Meghan. Her criticism is not random. It reflects a pattern. Defend the status quo, punish the disruptors. Welch understands how the press shapes public perception. She draws clear lines between criticism and bullying. In May of 2024, she condemned Angela Levin, yes, that Angela Levin, for persistently targeting Prince Harry and Meghan Sussex. Accusing broadcasters of enabling abuse by giving her a platform. Levin has faced significant backlash for comments widely criticized as racist toward Meghan, further fueling calls for media accountability. Welch does not fall in line with soft coverage of the monarchy. She has questioned why Prince Andrew receives protection while Harry is cast out. She called out Piers Morgan for spending years attacking Meghan while giving platforms to men like Andrew Tate. She slammed the media's push to get Harry back into royal duties, asking bluntly, why would he return to a system that caused so much harm? When the headlines accused her of a Kate Middleton rant, she clapped back, pointing out the hypocrisy in how her support for Meghan was framed as disrespect. She refuses to be silent or shamed. Denise Welch speaks with conviction. When bots swarmed her X account, she clashed with royal insiders on television. She didn't retreat. Instead, she doubled down, asking why it's controversial to support Harry and Meghan. Her message is clear. She will not bend to peer pressure or curated narratives. In March of 2024, she reminded her followers that many support the Sussexes with fervor or for a reason. That reason is fairness. That reason is truth. Denise Welch defends Harry and Meghan not because it's popular, but because it's right. She has faced media cruelty and knows what it does to a person. She sees the pattern of bias and calls them out by name. She speaks not from a palace script, but from her own hard-worn clarity. In doing so, Welch stands as a rare voice in British media, a woman unafraid to challenge the establishment in defense of those it tries to crush. Well, thank you, Denise Welch. Thank you very much for calling them out. Okay. And all right, we'll get to that in just a second. Let me go back here. And let's see, what do we have here? So Mary H. and Jemai, is it Sato? Happy birthdays. Is that plural? Happy birthdays. Well, thank you very much, Lydia Washington. And let us do a combined birthday salsa for present company on their birthday. Let's see here. I needed to stretch anyway. All right, so you guys, let's make this one count. Let's make this one count. All right, shake a tail feather. All right. Y'all should have saw me over here dancing like George Jefferson. I was over here cutting the rug just like George Jefferson. Let's see here. Again, happy birthday and many happy returns of the day. And okay, so royal family left out Michelle. How do you say that? Is it Agumang, and showed us exactly where they stand. They left her out. And what they mean by that is this. See there? A message from the king to Serena, was it Wigman, and the mighty lionesses, and all in their support team following their success in this evening's women's Euro semifinal. Okay. Okay, where is she then? Where is she? I do not see her represented there at all. I do not. Where is she? Your journey to this stage has been nothing short of remarkable, etc., etc., etc. But she's not pictured there, and she's not mentioned there either. Very interesting. So again, we're gonna turn to Feminegra for some clarity. Okay. So it says here, oh Lord, I got to wait for this ad to go through. All right. I think that should do it. Okay. Now I think I'm good. All right, so it says here, the Lionesses made it to another historic final but the royal family managed to turn celebration into erasure. Anyway, they erased her. In their congratulatory message ahead of Sunday's UEFA Euro 2025 final, the monarchy praised the English women's team for their grit and teamwork, but they left out one of the tournament's key players, 19-year-old striker Michelle Agyeman. Anyway, Michelle scored the equalizing goal in both quarterfinal against Sweden and the semifinal against Italy. Without her, England would not be, that is, in the final. Yet she is nowhere to be found in the royal family's image or message. She is nowhere to be found in the royal family's image or message. Her omission is not just a mistake, it fits a long-standing pattern of selective recognition, one that often excludes Black women when the spotlight is the brightest. I repeat, one that seems to exclude Black women when the light is the brightest. How many times are they going to exclude Black women when the light is the brightest? Except for this Black woman, she seems to this Black woman seems to have her place firmly rooted. Nobody gets her out of her place, but some Black women are just not welcome. Let's just say traditional Black women, right? But this you bet your Newport filtered deluxe cigarettes, nobody's going to exclude her. Nobody. But anybody else? Well, that doesn't seem to be a thing, does it? Anyway, as I was saying, Michelle carried England and got erased. Michelle has been the breakout star of the tournament. She came off the bench in the 81st minute against Sweden and scored the equalizer that sent the match into penalties. She did it again against Italy, scoring 96th-minute equalizer that kept England's dream alive. The teenager from South, what is that? Is it Ockendon? Has proven herself under pressure, and yet she was not acknowledged in the royal family's celebratory post. Such swines they are. Oh my goodness, aren't they awful? They're just some of the most awful people. Dreadful. The image featured other players and coaching staff. The statement praised the team's journey and spirit, but it failed to name or include the young Black woman who arguably made the final possible. Michelle wasn't a bench warmer. She was the moment, and she was missing. Everyone saw Michelle except the royal family. The big brands didn't miss Michelle. Yeah, the big brands didn't miss her impact. Adidas called her in their viral post. ESPN labeled her the savior of the nation. Arsenal Women, her club, posted her name with nothing else because her performance spoke for itself. Even the official Lionesses account named her player of the match, celebrating her back-to-back game-saving goals. So why couldn't the royal family see her? Why? I think we know why, don't we? If they couldn't even fully see their own black biracial daughter-in-law, Meghan Markle, how could they ever appreciate a dark-skinned, unapologetically talented 19-year-old with Michelle? I named that name. The omission feels deliberate in a nation that still struggles to name, honor, and uplift Black women in the spotlight. Michelle didn't just deserve to be seen, she demanded it. And the rest of the world saw her. The monarchy chose not to. William and Kate keep missing the moment. Erasure of Michelle comes in a broader context of the royal disengagement with women's football. Prince William is the president of the Football Association, but he has missed some of the most important matches in the Lionesses' history. He did not attend the 2019 World Cup semifinals or the third place match. He skipped the 2023 Women's World Cup final in Sydney, offering only a video apology with Princess Charlotte. Kate Middleton has also been notably absent. She missed the 2022 Euro final at Wembley, which England won. Oh, okay. Here is the lifeline. Ajiman. Ajiman? Really? Ajiman. Oh, that's too easy. I like it. It's a popular name in Ghana. Okay, well, thank you very much for the super chat. And thank you for the pronunciation. Ajiman. Okay, I think I got this. Let's see. Excuses around distance, children, or scheduling only go so far. The monarchy shows up for men's football. They make time for Wimbledon. But when women, especially Black women, are on the field, the support becomes conditional. Prince William is confirmed to attend the UEFA Women's Euro 2025 final in Basel, where England will face Spain. His decision to show up for the final follows backlash for missing the 2023 Women's World Cup final in Australia, despite being president of the Football Association. His presence this time comes amid renewed criticism of the royal family's engagement with women's football, particularly after their public tribute to the Lionesses omitted striker Michelle Ajiman. Their goals helped secure England's place in the final. That's terrible. That is awful. It is. It's awful. I want you to check out this post. I forgot to share this with you, but let me post it there so you guys can see how she has been honored. Okay. Okay. There you go. So you see there, Michelle Ajiman snubbed on, what is that, versus Sweden in the quarterfinals and scored the 81st minute equalizer. She subbed on, what is that, versus Italy? And the semifinals score the 96-minute equalizer. The 19-year-old does it again. She does it again. Okay. And so, anyway, final thoughts. Here is Feminagra's final thoughts on this. Michelle Ajiman should have been the face of national pride this week Instead, she was erased from the royal family's public celebration. This was not an isolated mistake. It was a reminder of how the monarchy continues to treat women's sports as secondary and how Black women remain invisible within the royal recognition. The Lionesses are not just playing for trophies, they are playing against a culture that that still fails to see them fully. Michelle Agiman put England in the final. The royal family had a choice to honor that. They chose not to. They just simply chose not to do it. So anyway, that is the final thought about that. Here's a tweet right here that says, the UK isn't racist, and yet somehow the royal family left out the player that got us to the final. And their statement to the England team seems about right. Yeah. That is just terrible. That is awful. This should not have happened. And they should apologize to her. They just simply do not want. And I'm going to show you something, you guys. Let me show you something. I had a feeling about this when Meghan and Harry invited Doria to go to that one particular event for the cookbook. I just had this feeling that bells were ringing, courtiers were called, newspapers were contacted, and they made sure that this never happened again. They made sure this never happened again. Now, that was an opportunity for the royal family to appear to the world a certain way. And you know what? I'm glad they did it. I'm glad they did it, as opposed to the other thing that would have happened, and that would have been using Doria. They got enough mileage out of Doria's presence on the wedding day, but they did not want Doria to be the face of the British royal family, not even for a split second. You know what they'd rather the face of the British royal family, you know what they wanted to be? They wanted to be bloated, overserved, hyped up, desperate, social climbing. That's the face that they choose for the royal family. In appearance, somewhat inebriated, allegedly. That is the face that they want for the royal family. They want those beady little eyes and all of the plotting and scheming and changing of schools. That's the face they want for the royal family. But that a woman has worked hard to improve her life and that of her daughters, that is not the face they want for the British royal family. Not at all. That just won't do. Just like they couldn't stand to have the face of the British royal family to be someone who would tenderly embrace someone that is HIV positive or someone who has lost a limb. They did not want that for the British royal family. And most of all, it must be one of the senior members of the royal family that is a blood royal. They have to make sure that it appears that they thought of it first, right? They have to make sure that people think they thought of it first. That's why I'm not surprised. I am not surprised. I know it bothered them something terrible when Harry and Meghan and then Doria stepped out of that car that day. I bet they just about blew a gasket. You had all these women of color, appearing for the celebration of the cookbook, Meghan giving a speech without notes, and then her mama comes there poised and elegant. They couldn't take that. They could not take it. It's bad enough that the spare looks better than the heir. Yeah, none of that would have done. Not for what they had in mind. So that's who those people are. Colonizers, clearly colonizers. Hey, Lex, thank you so much for being here. Stevie Rose, welcome. Perlina Answer, thank you for being here. So look at that tweet right there. There's something quite white about your post. Yeah. And they decided to add this photo to the thread because she seemed to be missing from the post from the Buckingham Palace. So she thought it necessary to, do that herself. So, or him or herself. I don't know who this person is. And look at that. Why was Michelle Ajiman excluded from the photo in your statement to the England women's team? Huh? Why was she excluded? And someone else said, I'm sorry, you forgot someone. And someone else says, always attaching yourselves to the success of the people because you do nothing of value yourselves. Hashtag abolish the monarchy. And I just want you to know, these are not squatties. That's why a couple of them, I blocked their names. These are not squatties. These are just people that do not care for the way that that institution behaves. So they have made their voices heard. But again, these are not squatties. Didn't recognize any of them. Oh, and look at that post right there. That person right there was just like, racist king. They didn't mince their words. They weren't trying to find something politically correct. They just said exactly what they felt. Lex says, remember them saying Doria was moving in and relying on old racist tropes. They said the same about Michelle Obama's mom. What is it? Gentrify and erase Black excellence. There you go. Thank you very much, Legs, for that reminder. But yeah, that is that I don't know why that keeps people up at night, especially when you think about Michelle Obama. The president of the United States decides how the White House functions, who comes and goes from the White House, how the White House is used. They're able to make subtle changes to the White House, right? And yet, a lawfully elected president, Barack Obama, invites his mother-in-law there because they're taking young children to Washington, D.C. And I think under those circumstances, you just can't have enough family around. And yet, they did not just say, oh, that's nice, their grandma's there with them. No, they turned it into Mrs. Robinson is trying to come up. She's taking advantage. They even had a fake, false political ad that started some rumor about Michelle Obama's demanding, well, her mama, that is, her mama demanding money from the federal government, like a Social Security check or something, just because she's caring for her grandchildren while they're at the White House. And people believed it. They even used it to fundraise for the Republicans. It is alarmingly easy to vilify Black people. It is alarmingly easy to vilify Black women. There seems to be little or no protection for Black women in most of society. It just isn't. The society as a whole seem to feel like Black women should be people of suspicion. Yeah, we should be very suspect of their motives. Never mind the contributions that Black women have made for this country, but for some reason, and I guess it's not just this country, I guess it's for most Western industrialized countries, they always look upon Black women with suspicion. And I'll never forget when a friend of mine told me that, and by the way, he was from India. He told me that his grandmother said, when you go to the US, stay away from those Black people. Just stay away from them. And of course, he informed me that I'm not my grandmother. He said, but I appreciate his honesty for sharing that with me. I really do appreciate that. And I have to say, working at that particular job, we didn't sit according to race or religion. During our lunch hours, we were in age groups, but we didn't exclude anyone because of their race. And I know that's, sometimes not typical in the workplace, but it's the truth. That is the world that I saw, and I was glad for that. And when my car broke down, this guy, the reason why we had so much time to, speak honestly to each other is because he used to ride me to work every day. When my car was broke down, he said, meet me by the highway. He'd get off the highway, pick me up, get back on the highway, and off to work we go. And he did that every day for, I don't know, a month or so. But had he listened to his grandmother, God only knows. I tell you. And where did she get that from? Well, let me see. India has its own caste system, I know. And of course, when the British came along with their aristocracy and racism, the East India Company, I should say, it was like a hand to the glove, wasn't it? Just fit perfectly. Oh my God. Sometimes I say to myself, is it really 2025? Is it really 2025? Because it seems like 1825. Anyway, thank you very much, Legs. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Really, really nice guy. Really nice guy. I have to say we're very lucky at that place that even though it was like a variety of people. There was this one lady from Vietnam. Yeah, I mean, we had everybody. You name them, we had everybody. I even learned some words in Polish. So yeah, you name it, we had it. It was like being on the Starship Enterprise. There you go, Marsha. Because we are the mother of all, only Black women can give birth to babies of all colors. I know this for a fact. All my kids look like Meghan. All right, there you go. there was a study that even said that I think it was 1 out of 5 or something like that, 1 out of 4. Um, 1 out of the 4 Chinese, if you check their, their DNA, there's a lot of African blood. They say that, what was it, some 60,000 years ago or something like that, when Africa was still connected to Asia by some point, they, and then even later in history, um, I believe they said that the Chinese had these huge armadas that were trading as far south as South Africa. They even say that some of the there are some people in Africa along the coast that there are some tribes that have definitely swapped DNA with the Chinese, which is interesting, but shouldn't be a surprise. Oh well, hopefully in the next 100 years, 50 years, it seems like everything is going backwards as far as race relations is concerned, but I'm hoping that we'll move forward. But this should not have happened to this young lady. It's and what this says to children of color, it just says you're not English. You cannot be English. The only people that are English have to look like members of the royal family, except for Princess Anne. But you're not English. That is like, you know, um, they want people to assimilate and participate in the culture, and yet they deny them their heritage. They deny them their birthright. If your family goes back 2 or 3 generations, how far back do you have to go? William the Conqueror? Do you also make these same exceptions for people that are from other parts of Europe? Well, I guess the scary part is, yes, they in some ways they do, don't they? But yeah, nationalism, my goodness. It's weird for me as an American to see that level of nationalism because I mean, if you're black and you, as they say, foundational Black American, there's no doubt that you're American. You are the very embodiment of American. Your ancestors literally died to build this country. You don't get any more American than me. I just don't think it's, well, except for Native Americans, of course. I just don't think it's possible. But they like to deny people their national identity. They'll even deny people their racial identity, depending on what suits them for the day, like they did Kamala Harris. They denied Kamala Harris her racial identity. They othered her just before the election. They othered her. And that was awful. I was embarrassed by that. I was really embarrassed by the people who othered her. I really was. Because if you looked at the DNA of some of the people who othered Kamala Harris, some of them aren't as black as she is. Some of them just aren't. But they denied her blackness at one of the most crucial points in the election. So that was deliberate. I tell you, as long as I live, I'll never forget that one. I'll never forget that one. Obama was black enough, but Kamala wasn't. Make that make sense. Yep. I was like, what the what? What are we doing here? What are we doing? Okay. Well, this has definitely sparked a bit of I guess some very recent memories of the past election and so on. But anyway, I'm gonna move on. You guys, all we can do is just pray for our countries. Pray for civility to return. That's about the only thing we can do is pray for civility, because right now there seems to be a lack of it. Okay, people who are descendants of slaves are in the Constitution. We were made Americans 3 years after slavery. Black Americans are the only group mentioned in our Constitution of 1868. Oh, thank you very much for that information. Yeah, you know what? And that is very true, because they said that the what do they call it? Birthright citizenship. Birthright citizenship was only established as a way to mandate our place in the country by law, because after the Civil War, it was unclear whether or not Black people were United States citizens. It was unclear. They were trying to say that we were not citizens. So that is where the birthright citizenship thing comes from. It was a post-Civil War law, right? If I can remember correct. That was something from the post-Civil War. Are you serious? I did not know that. That is just ugly. That is just ugly. You guys, I was just looking at something about the March of Tears when Andrew Jackson, who for some reason is still on the $20 bill, when he used the power of the office to purge Native Americans until they were far beyond the Mississippi River. They'd make treaties with the natives, with the First Nation people, as they call them now. They would make treaties only to break them. It was such a brutal thing. No wonder the United States government finds it so easy to support regimes around the world. That's why it comes easy. Because even though we deny it as a country, you cannot deny that the U.S. is an empire. The U.S. has over 700 military bases around the world. 700, more than any other country. If that doesn't scream empire, what does? The U.S. has the largest military in the world. If that doesn't scream empire, what does? Right? And territory by territory, manifest destiny, the United States managed to expand from sea to shining sea. They even took Puerto Rico. They took the Midway Islands. At one time, didn't they take the Philippines? They took Hawaii. Hawaii, a sovereign nation. And in every instance where we took something, they allowed the interests of white businessmen to dictate whether or not people were purged from their own land. That's who decides. White men the interests of white men. There have even been court rulings that have declared, give it back. And whoever was in the White House just ignored it. They say, okay, if the Supreme Court says we have to give it back, then make them enforce it. Have them enforce it. If not, get out of the way. You know, at a certain age, you realize, oh, we're not really wearing the white hat, are we? We're not the heroes. Lex says, Andrew Jackson was a horrible person. Trail of Tears. Yeah, Old Hickory. Old Hickory. And isn't that his statue in front of the White House? It's interesting that they would take down all of these Confederate monuments, and yet Andrew Jackson stands proud and clearly, clearly someone that they look up to, right? Like, for instance, I do believe that the current occupant of the White House, he made it a point to put Andrew Jackson's image over his desk so that nobody confused what the intentions were. Thank you very much, Lex. Yeah, this is the history that they don't like to teach in school. It is a very, very murky history. One of colonization, empire, genocide, all of those things. You can find all of that in U.S. history, all of it. It's why some things come so easy to this government. Mary H. says, because the land belonged to the Native Americans, the country of America is a different matter, which is why the U.S. doesn't have jurisdiction over tribal lands. That's what I've been told. Well, they don't have jurisdiction until they do, because if there was any interest in breaking those treaties, like, for instance, I forget which territory it was, they declared that the natives will never be troubled by the U.S. government again until they found gold. And when they found gold, there they were, marching in a trail of tears again. So those treaties, those agreements are only as good as the minerals on the property. If they find minerals, like, for instance, there's no way that they would allow a native tribe to become as rich as Kuwait without the big companies in the U.S. getting a cut of it. There's no way that would happen. There should be tribes in the U.S. that are rich as Kuwait, as rich as Saudi Arabia. They should have that, but they would find a way to purge them from that land if that were the case. I just believe they would. They would find a way to do it. They would find some kind of clause, some kind of stipulation, executive order, something would give, and then they would have to go, because they've done it over and over again until they were pushed to the brink of extinction. But thank you so much for your comment. Lex says, Andrew Jackson didn't believe in the federal bank. It is why it's weird that he is on the Oh, really? I didn't know that. They were trying to rectify this until Trump came into office. Yeah, and the Democrats, if they wanted him off of the 20, they should have done it. I remember they were talking about putting Harriet Tubman, or God knows who else that they wanted to put on the $20 bill. But yeah, he should have been purged from the 20 years ago. Years ago. Does not deserve to be there. does not deserve to have such an honor. Thank you, Lex. Okay, you guys, I got so much stuff ahead. I got to keep it moving. Cosmopolitan. Kate Middleton, her secret family vacation on luxury yacht. What? Kate Middleton on a yacht? That's so strange. Kate and as I say sarcastically, that is so strange. I could not picture her on a yacht again. I thought her days on board the yacht, I thought that ended once she hit the jackpot. I thought she was through with the yachts when she hit the jackpot, but apparently not. Next thing you know, there'll be late night meetings with Sir Richard Branson or thereabouts. But my goodness, I had no idea. Oh man, must be something about that yacht, huh? Makes your dreams come true. Let me see here. I'm trying to think. Have I ever seen anything about the yacht? I'm trying to picture it. Kate Middleton yacht. Oh, there we go. I thought I might have something. Okay, I remember Forging of a Princess, how generations of steely social climbing matriarchs shaped Kate Middleton's character. That means social climbers. The corporate clients loved her, especially the way she always seemed to be showing off her slender legs in tight blue shorts as she served gin and tonics and lunch. Isn't that amazing? How is it I could see that small print when I'm being shady and I can't see it on other occasions? Isn't that something? And I was actually looking at the one on the right side, not the one in the middle. I promise you, I was looking at the one on the right. Okay, let me continue with the one on the right. Let me see if I can still see it. She was working as a deckhand on a 72-foot sailing boat in the Solent, looking after important clients for mighty corporation companies like such as Barclays, BT, I believe that's British Petroleum, Nokia, Toshiba, and Volkswagen. Wow. Is that a Volkswagen in your pocket, or are you just glad to see me? Is that a Toshiba television in your pocket, or are you just glad to see me? Anyway, okay, one more. Is that a Nokia phone in your pocket, or are you just glad to see me? Oh man. Oh, the shade. Okay, now that last line, it says the year was 2001, and someone referred to the tall, slim girl earning 40 pounds a day as Beautiful Kate. That's what they called her, Beautiful Kate. And it says here, given the average age of the clients, most of them are dead now. I'm just kidding. I made that up. I just made that up. I don't know. But I just picture they were probably much older. Older than their birthday. Older than their mothers. They went to school with Santa Claus. That's how old they were. Anyway, you guys, that's enough of this shade. Let me get back here because I told you guys we got some other stuff to cover. Where the heck was I? Okay, right here. How did we get on the subject of yachts? Oh, there it is right there. Luxury yacht. The Prince and Princess of Wales have reportedly set their sights on Greece for the summer vacation, according to local media outlet Nikos. Kate Middleton, her parents, Prince William, and their 3 children were reportedly cruising the Ionian Sea? They reportedly arrived on the island of California, the island of Kaftan, in complete secrecy aboard a private jet from London, according to the now deleted report from Kaftan.com. The private driver picked them up and took them to a luxury yacht. And it was reported that one of the members of the party said, "I know the way, take a right." One of the members in the party said, "Yeah, I know the way, just take a right." Yeah, okay, and then left. And then we're going to go about 3 blocks, about a quarter mile, and we're there. Isn't that weird that one of the members of the party seemed to know exactly which boat it was? They didn't even have to get up close. That particular person seems to have a working knowledge of most of the yachts. That's so strange. Kind of awkward, isn't it? And it was also reported that one of the members of the party who seemed to be in charge, he seemed to be rather peeved about it. But then another member of the party was like, "That's my girl." I taught you well. You never disappoint. Anyway, what was I saying? Anyway, that's enough of that. Let's go on to the next one. Let me see. Prince William and Kate Middleton on private holiday in Kaftan. Let me see. Don't put that man in front of me again. 11 out of 12 private gardeners. Oh, you know what? I got these all mixed up, don't I? Why did I put these together? Oh, you know what? I got these from a squatty. I think the point that they were making is that they're picking on the Sussexes so that people won't pay attention to this. And right here, Prince William and Kate holiday on a $450 million super yacht. William and Kate holidaying on a $450 million super yacht. And one of the squatties said, "If you're wondering why the press is trying to convince you that the Sussexes fulfilling a 5-year contract resulting in them earning $100 million and an ongoing business partnership with Netflix is somehow bad, just remember that William and Kate are vacationing on their 4th vacation this year on a super yacht linked to Abu Dhabi ruling aristocratic family, and the king bullies his gardeners." I think that's why I had these other ones, is because of all of that I just shared. And Henry VIII says, would royal commentators be making up a Sussex scandal if William and Kate weren't on a Saudi mega yacht right now? And the answer, of course, is no. The answer is no. They would not be doing it. It wouldn't be nearly as intense if it wasn't for that fact. They just don't want people to start talking about the yacht girl returns. As a matter of fact, that could be a Will and Kate rom-com, The Yacht Girl Returns. Yeah, you know what? I think that Paramount should pick up that one. If it ever becomes a book, I think that Paramount should pick up that option and make a movie called The Yacht Girl Returns. Lex says, fourth, more like sixth. The sixth vacation. How are William YouTube numbers? You know what? I was going to get to that. I was going to get to that. Thank you so much for the super chat. So right here it says, when they bash Harry and Meghan's success, look no further. Prince William's YouTube partnership. 2 years ago, YouTube announced that Prince William's Earthshot would help them reach wider audiences on climate change. The gag, many of William's videos are barely cracking 500 views. Yeah, they are barely cracking 500 views. Let me see. This one squatty says, you'd think he'd put his bots on that instead of on videos about his brother and sister-in-law. And another squatty says, as a matter of fact, the one who wrote this thread says, Nelly, says, Prince William's Earthshot views should not be this low, but when you're lazy and don't live a purpose-driven life of service to others, that is, it shows. The way he fed and fueled by negativity against the Sussexes is horrific. He's probably so easily triggered at home and a scary husband, dad. Yeah, clearly he is. Okay. Pardon me, I had to drink a little water. Hold on, more. Okay. And what else do we have here? Oh, ha ha ha. YouTube thought he's Prince Harry. Oh, okay, I get it. YouTube thought that William was Prince Harry. Exactly. The British press were too giddy trying to pit William's YouTube against Harry's Netflix. The numbers aren't even remotely close. Prince Harry will always reign supreme. And lastly, the very last on this thread says, now we all know why the views are so low, because Meghan's name wasn't mentioned in this shows you that they don't have fans, they have Meghan haters. You know what? That is an excellent point. That is an excellent point. They do not have fans, they only have Meghan haters. Now, battle of the streaming services. Prince William partners up with YouTube for Earthshot Prize content after Harry's multi-million-pound deal with Netflix. So remember, they were all like so gleeful when this information came out. That was the 31st of May, 2023. And that was over 2 years ago. That was when William was supposed to really give Harry a run for his money on this platform. And it never came to fruition. If you look there on the right, check it out. The power of community, local voices, global impact, 260 views. How the eDNA empowers smarter, greener decisions, 160 views. The next one, 196 views. Uh-oh, stop the presses. Reinventing fashion. Earthshot finalists Mary and Addie on changing the industry. Well, what is that? 312 views. Oh my goodness. My head is spinning. Stop the presses. That is crap. It is. It's just crap. So yeah, there you go. Williams' YouTube hasn't done so well. If you don't make it about the Sussexes, it ain't gonna make it. Plain and simple. As part of Williams' collaboration with the video giant YouTube, we'll support the growth of the Earthshot Prize YouTube channel and build an engaged sustainability community. Sustainability. That sounds so much like Travelist. Meanwhile, the organization will also work to help the prize reach younger and more international audiences who care passionately about climate change. Yeah, they are going to put down their smartphones and they're going to pick up a broom and go out there and clean them streets up. They're going to put down those smartphones and they're going to walk to New York City. Yeah, they'll just walk to New York City. Oh no, my screen is glitching. You guys, if this goes out. Oh, my screen is glitching. Uh-oh. You know what? I should have rebooted my computer. Oh no. Okay, I hope you guys can still hear me. I don't know what is happening, but my screen is glitching. So let me see if I can do something about it. Okay, I am going to try to do a reboot. I did that before, didn't I? Where I did a reboot. Oh man, you know what it is? It's the let me see if I can do something about this. I don't know if you guys can hear me, but I'm just going to keep acting as though you can. So, oh man. Huh. That is so weird. Okay. Hang in there, you guys. I am still here, and I'm going to try to make this work. You know, the iOS is working fine. It is the Can I do that? Let me see. Let me see.
This bad boy turns tomatoes into
Okay, I see that Royal Sussex is still there. Oh, you can hear me. All right, all right, all right. I see that. So my Google, all of my Google has been Googled. I mean, it's just my Google is gone. Seriously, the iOS, I can see my channel um on iOS, but on the Google, I cannot see it. That is so weird.
And steaks into butter. Sold out 5 times for.
Okay, so let me see what I can do here. I'm gonna quit that. All right, all right, all right, all right. We are back in business. We are back in business. Okay, I see you guys can still hear me. Wasn't that strange? Wasn't that strange? My Google went completely out. It started glitching. And the next thing I know, it was gone. It was completely gone. All right. So give me just a second to get my my screen back up. Wow, that was weird. Was it something I said? Was it something I said? Okay. And we're back. We are back. All right. So, Lex says they're trying to shut you down again, B. Remember? Yes, I do. Thank you for the super chat. And then there was this one. Maybe he needs some more UN banners at his hotel. Clearly, clearly. Thank you very much. Let me see. All right. Whoa, that was a trip. I was like, what happened? It literally blanked out on me. It blanked out. The whole screen just went white. And so what I did was I did a force quit for the Google, and then I brought Google back up, and that seemed to remedy whatever happened. So, but anyway, that's enough of all that. Who shot John? It wasn't until I got to this part that I seemed to have the problems. Oh, you know what? Maybe because it mentions YouTube. I'll just skip that part about you. I'm going to skip that part about YouTube. So if there's any representatives from YouTube listening in, I'm just going to skip that part and we'll just go on to something else that does not involve the platform in which I have relied upon for the past few years. Okay? Okay. Okay, so summary. What is the royal family's combined carbon footprint? The royal family's combined carbon footprint tallies up to a massive 5,994 tons a year. To put it in perspective, the average Brit has an annual carbon footprint of just 10 tons in a whole year. 10 tons. And that is still a lot for just an average person. But the royal family, you can multiply that by whatever it is, and there you have it. 5,994 tons. That is massive. But I tell you what, if you're having trouble giving up sweets, if you're having trouble giving up sugary products, let me see. What is the average amount of sugar by pounds the average American consumes in a year? 152 pounds of sugar per year. The average American consumes 152 pounds of sugar a year. That is like 1.5 of those. Let me see. How much does a commercial bag of sugar weigh? 10 to 20 pounds. They have 50-pound bags. So in a year, the average American eats 3 50-pound bags of sugar. 3 50-pound bags of sugar go through your bloodstreams, filter through your organs every year. If that is not enough to make you give up soda, I don't know what is. Huh? Did you guys know that? 150 pounds of sugar per year has been consumed by the average American. Now, I bet you can cut that number in half, or let me see. How many pounds of sugar does the average European eat in a year? You know what? I'm not making this up. It says 75 pounds. 75 pounds compared to the average American, 150 pounds. I'm not making this up. That's what the thing just said here. Oh my God. Like I said, if you want to give up sweets, just know that if you live in Europe, depending on where you live, you're taking about 75 pounds of sugar. I don't know how many, what is that, meters or whatever? I don't know what that is, but that's a lot. It's still a lot. Oh, that's 34 kilograms. 34 kilograms, which means that is 68 kilograms for an American. You guys are eating 34 kilograms of sugar per year. What do you have to say for yourselves? Huh? Huh? What do you have to say for yourselves? Oh, what is that? Joya Moore says, I got a fight a 95-year-old in the shower tomorrow. Oh, okay, well, you're going to need your rest then. They didn't get to 95 because they're easy. You know what I mean? All right. Well, thank you for sharing that. And I hope you have a fantastic day. Okay. How Princess Catherine defeated both cancer and internet trolls reading the Royals Daily Mail. That is, of course, Richard Eden. Richard Eden seems to be of the opinion that the Sussex squad has been unkind to Kate Middleton. I don't know what he's talking about because, as far as I'm concerned, for a long time, we were the only ones to care. Hey, Hazel Jones, thank you for being here. Now, what is the Sussex squad? What is the Sussex squad? Now, according to what is his name? Dan Wooten. Let me find it.
Thomas, I wanted to ask you about these vile individuals who refer to themselves as the Sussex Squad.
So I come to my dad's house and start going through it, and I look on YouTube, and my God, I see the Sussex Squad and the Royal Sussex page on YouTube and the things they post, and that's where I found that disgusting video making fun of my father just because he's going to the Jubilee. I mean, and if you look on the Royal Sussex page on YouTube, you're going to see exactly whose it is. It's definitely Meghan Markle. And if it's not her personally, she's definitely paying somebody to do it.
Okay, now I want to show you guys something. There's a little Easter egg that, do you guys remember when I made that video for Queen Elizabeth's tomb, or, you know, I mentioned Henry VIII. I don't know if you guys ever noticed this, but only one person in the comments had noticed that I put Thomas Markle. When I mentioned Henry VIII, I put this picture on that video that got 2.7 million views. Yes, the Duke of Rosarito, yeah, that's right, Thomas Markle and his 30 pieces of silver. Yes. And one person said, why do you have a picture of Meghan Markle's dad or Thomas Markle? I can't remember. Do you know that over 2.7 million people looked at that video, and I promise you, just that one person noticed that that wasn't Henry VIII. Maybe the others noticed and just didn't say anything. But oh my God, that was so funny. That was so funny. Now you guys see what takes me so long to prep, because some days I start editing photos and I cannot stop. I get an idea and I never use AI. I still do the old-fashioned edits. Jennifer Clark, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. All right. So yeah, that happens sometimes. And Leg says using 2 fake pictures. You know what? Yeah, one of course being the AI on the bench video, picture, and the other one, of course, the Franken photo. But at least the Richard Eden photo is 100% authentic and realistic. There's no deception there, because we all know a rat when we see one. Thank you so much, Legs. Now, let me see. Oh, I got to go over here and do that. There we go. So the professor, as we affectionately call him, the professor, who is quite the wordsmith, had a thing to say about Richard Eden. I don't know where this guy comes from, but he is just, he's been quite the gift. I think only one time that I disagree with something that he said. It had nothing to do with the Sussexes, but just one time I was just like, so, but anyway, life is not about everybody being 100% on board with everything. It's our diversity, which is what gives our country strength. We find our strength in our diversity. Anyway, Richard Eden is using Kate's cancer to promote a newsletter. That's not journalism. That's exploitation. And he only finds online abuse outrageous when he can use it to smear Meghan Markle. Transparent, disgusting, and predictable. Okay, let's see what he has to say about that.
Princess Catherine had the most traumatic year of her life. Her cancer battle was made only worse by some of the terrible abuse and mockery that she received online from some of Prince Harry and Meghan.
Oh, I'm sorry. The phone is buffering.
Princess Catherine had the most traumatic year of her life, and her cancer battle was made only worse by some of the terrible abuse and mockery that she received online from some of Prince Harry and Meghan's most outspoken and unpleasant supporters. I've looked into this, the new Palace Confidential newsletter, and while Catherine was receiving treatment and going through some of her hardest times, she was also having to face this barrage of really nasty abuse and mockery online. For more royal insights, comment newsletter, and I'll send you all the details of how to sign up.
Richard Eden, you are an opportunistic parasite. You don't give a damn about Kate Middleton's health, her privacy, or her peace. What you care about is email signups, click-through rates, and monetizing her illness to push your tired tabloid trash to an equally tired audience. You're not a journalist. You're a gossip merchant who stumbled into the palace gates by clout-chasing cancer updates. And let's really talk about this latest stunt. You're pretending to be Kate's white knight, crying crocodile tears about mockery and abuse from Meghan and Harry supporters, while actively platforming and profiting from the same vitriol that drove Meghan to suicidal ideation when she was pregnant and hounded by your industry. Where were these fragile feelings while Meghan was being compared to a monkey by a BBC host? Where was your outrage when the Daily Fail was dissecting her womb and her wedding, and her fucking avocados? The truth is, you don't care about online abuse unless it can be weaponized against Meghan. You're not protecting Kate. You're exploiting her, just like you exploited Meghan. And just like you'd exploit a puff of royal perfume if it meant boosting your signups. And don't act like this abuse only comes from Meghan fans, because we've all seen the receipts. The death threats Meghan gets, the slurs, the deep fakes, the constant racist bile. And she's never gotten a single ounce of your sympathy. Not one. Why? Because you're not covering the royals? You're covering for the royals. You're not here to report facts. You're here to carry water for an institution that feeds off Meghan's dehumanization. So your moral panic can kiss my ass, and your fake compassion can suck it. You're not here to protect women. You're here to package their pain into profit. And if Kate is going through the hardest year of her life, then shame on you for using that to boost your brand. Say it with me. Richard Eden doesn't care about Kate. Richard Eden cares about Richard Eden, period. This man isn't a journalist. He's a royal PR mouthpiece with an agenda. And you'd be a fool to think otherwise.
Well, there you go. Apparently, that particular comment from Richard Eden, which really was an advertisement, he was promoting a newsletter, and the only way to get people to embrace his newsletter is to accuse the Sussex squad of being horrible people, and of course to invoke the name Meghan, because that's also a selling point. That's the only way he can get people to do it. Richard Eden on a daily basis stoked the flames of hate and hostility for profit. That is very clear. He does it for profit. Richard Eden seems to be financially struggling, because almost every month or so, he comes out with a new scheme to make money. It's a new scheme to make money, and it's always about Meghan. That is the very embodiment of not only harassment toward Meghan, because let's face it, the only way to get that kind of attention is to say something horrific about Meghan. It's very exploitative. He has to exploit Meghan's likeness, her life, her image, her very existence has to be exploited so that he can get an audience. There's other things he could talk about. I mean, there was a time when Richard Eden gossiped about the rest of that family with ease, but he won't do it anymore because of the invisible contract, which is why when I look at him, I see a rodent, a big, hairy rodent. Let's take as a matter of fact, the professor mentioned receipts. I'm going to share with you just a few that I have, right? And to be respectful, the notorious JTB, but I always call him the professor because he referred to himself on one occasion. You wouldn't believe the amount of abuse I've been receiving from fans of Prince Harry and Meghan this week. It seems to have hit record levels, only to be matched by his own, okay? Only to be matched by his own, because I will insist that what he and the rest of the Royal Rota, the tabloid media, and the so-called royal experts, the way they have treated Meghan is nothing short of abuse. It is very abusive. And of course, they never cared about Meghan's mental health or well-being, ever. They didn't care about Meghan's unborn child, not the first, not the second, and not the third. They did not care. If you take a look here on the left side, I'm going to try to go through these quickly because I got quite a few of them. I started pulling them out and I just was like, you know what? For the sake of those who may not have ever seen these before, how about this time? This right here shows you how Richard Eden works with and stands up for the royal family. There's no pretense of objectivity. Surely you stand to greet a future queen. So why did Daniel Craig stay lounging in the royal box with his shades on when Kate approached it? approached. It's time to learn some manners, Mr. Bond. He didn't care that other people didn't stand up. He only cared that Daniel Craig, in line of sight, refused to stand up. He didn't see a point to stand up. He was not bowing at the altar of Kate Middleton, and that bothered him. It's a subtle question of etiquette. When meeting the Princess of Wales, just how should royalty behave? Hollywood royalty, that is, now Daily Mail diary editor Richard Eden has made his views known. What you do is what you want to do. There's no obligation to bow or curtsy to members of the royal family. You do it if you want to. That's what they always say, especially if you don't work for the royal family. And who knows, perhaps Daniel Craig just doesn't think that much of Kate that he thinks is necessary. You know, it never dawns on certain people that there are some people who cannot understand why Wimbledon has to be made to observe Kate Middleton. How does it become about Kate Middleton? Why does Kate get to be the hero in somebody else's success? She's the hero in someone else's story, someone else's struggle to win the Wimbledon, and she gets to be the one center stage, smiling and waving at people like she's achieved anything other than marrying some dim-witted prince of the realm who nobody else wanted. And it only took her 10 years to do it. 10 years. Okay, Kate is trying to raise our future king, so it shouldn't be seen as not working hard. You see there, even back then, Richard Eden was lending protection to Kate. I wonder why. Why is it so important for everyone to co-sign for Kate Middleton? Whether she had surgery or not, this has been a constant. And it really started when Meghan showed up, and it's getting on my nerves. Richard Eden tells Palace Confidential after she was called a part-time royal by Omid Scobie and carried out just 128 engagements. She is a part-time royal. She's always been a part-time royal. And once again, we're using those children as a crutch, as a reason why she cannot carry out as many royal duties as the oldest person in the royal family, as the youngest person in the royal family, as any living, breathing person in that family. There's always an excuse why Kate cannot perform. Well, what is she there for? What is she there for? What was the point of it? Did the country get their money's worth from her wedding? Because if you ask me, the Middletons have cost more than they have actually created with a what was it, a $5 million, $6 million, $12 million driveway? I forget the numbers. They have a collection of homes, not a home, but one for every day of the week. Christopher Bosie. Okay, let me go back up top, the black square up there. It should be pointed out that the magazine to which Meghan granted her jaw-dropping interview, The Cut, has been responsible for spreading scurrilous rumors about Prince William in the past. Couldn't we say the same thing about the newspaper that he works for? Couldn't we say the same thing about the newspaper that he used to work for? Couldn't we just say that about his social media? And anything else attached to Richard Eden is full of rumors. He himself has spread rumors about William and Kate. He's done it himself before he took delivery of dog biscuits, which brings me to the next one. Why is he smiling? Because he's got a freebie. If you look behind him, there's a bag of those James Middleton doggy treats. Thank you, James Middleton, for the goodies you sent for Windsor, which is his dog. Our new puppy. It was very thoughtful of you. Windsor's been with us for a week and is settling in well. He loves the kibbles and raw turkey from James and Ella. Best wishes. That was a Freudian slip. Best wishes to the Middleton family during this difficult time. What difficult time is that, Richard? When has time ever been difficult for them? It couldn't have been Kate's surgery because we didn't see them. We didn't see Mom Middleton until, I guess her favorite thing. If Kate loves Wimbledon, then her mother can't miss Royal Ascot. Yeah. But there's Richard with his hand out. What does that say? Where's my pot of jam? That was when the American Riviera Orchard, when that was being passed out, he wanted one. He posted that. And you know what? I think he had the gall to believe that Meghan would actually send him one. And you know, if she would have sent him a jar, I wonder how his writing would have changed, if at all. Because it certainly has changed for James Middleton. It has changed for Carol and Mike Middleton. So Christopher Boozy says, imagine a journalist from the New York Times or the Washington Post publicly receiving gifts from the brother of a soon-to-be queen consort and then writing an article demanding Meghan Markle beg the future queen consort for forgiveness. The UK is wild. No wonder Harry and Meghan left. Now, what he's referring to is that Richard Eden, after receiving the doggy treats, wrote an article demanding that Harry and Meghan ask Kate for forgiveness. I guess for the Sussex squad, for something. I guess for the whole where's Kate? I don't know what it was. I don't remember. But he said that they should ask Kate to forgive them. They should crawl to Kate Middleton and beg her forgiveness. The mean girl, the one who made Meghan's wedding preparation hell. That Kate Middleton. The one who has waged this campaign to stalk Meghan by dressing and moving about as Meghan would, albeit a very marked down sheen version of Meghan, a Dollar Tree version of Meghan, but we all understand exactly what the intentions are. We all understand what the intentions are. The intentions are to remind Meghan that you are reachable. I can mess with you if I choose to. That's what it is. It's abuse. He wants the Sussexes to beg their forgiveness, and Will and Kate, and I'm just going to say it just like I see it, they have been incredibly abusive to the Sussexes. Not just unfriendly, not just rude, not just worrisome, but they have been abusive. They have used their staff to abuse the Sussexes. It is clearly abuse, nothing else. And that's only accounting for Kensington Palace. It does not include the tabloid media, the invisible contract. It does not include Clarence House. But there has been a war waged against them, an attempt to drive them to the brink, to the edge of non-existence. Clearly, that's what the point is. At no other time in a woman's existence is she more vulnerable than pregnancy. And even that was not enough to back off. And yet they tell us to back off Kate Middleton, to leave her alone. As if let's see, where is that at? I like to show it to you. Well, anyway, I'm going to show you the headline. Because it was a real thing. It was a real thing. See there? Richard Eden, the very telling reason why Harry and Meghan should now seek forgiveness from Kate. Who would you tell if you'd been diagnosed with cancer? I don't know what that part of it is. But yeah, he was serious. Right after he got his doggy treats, he decided now is the time to tell the Sussexes that they should ask for forgiveness. And you can see the date right there. It is the 28th of March. So that was about a week after Kate's testimonial, which I think was March 22nd. Yeah, he was serious. He was either serious or he's trying to get the Royal Victorian Order or something. Oh, that's not for me, is it? I'm sorry. Yeah. Maybe he gets the dog sit Ella or something. I don't know. And nor should you, because they don't hide how they feel about Meghan. Okay, Richard Eden making them the Earl and Countess of Bucklebury. So he wasn't through. In March, he was telling the Sussexes to ask for forgiveness. By April of 2024, make them the Earl and Countess of Bucklebury. Why Carol and Mike Middleton deserve their own titles for their heroic support of Kate Middleton. If they really wanted to support Kate Middleton with all of her plasters and bandages on her fingers, with her curious weight loss, if they really wanted to support her, maybe they should get her the hell out of there. Maybe that's what they need to do. Maybe she should have never been in that position in the first place. Maybe that damaged set of goods that she married, maybe they shouldn't have insisted upon her being Gladys Russell. If you know, you know. But if you ask me, it seemed like a Gladys Russell, except for that one wasn't crying. That one was stuttering all the way to the altar. Gladys Russell cried. The other one stuttered and stammered her way to the altar. Okay, what do we have next? Richard Eden, a journalist. As a journalist, I try to find answers to questions rather than merely ask them. And of course, I don't have I think that cuts off here, but it says maybe asking legitimate questions in the UK is considered disturbing, but here in America, we are not sheep. If the palace and the British press hadn't handled this situation so poorly, people like me. Okay, so what he's saying is if the whole rollout about Kate's surgery, it's not cancer, yes, it is cancer, pre-cancer cells, preventative cancer treatment, if there was not so much confusion with that, if they wouldn't have worked so hard to hide Kate from the public, right? 172 days without one confirmed sighting of Kate Middleton, to the point where a member of parliament said, show us the body, to the point where the royal family and Kate Middleton became an international butt of the joke. If a high-ranking member of any government, if the Secretary of State or the First Lady were to go missing, you would hope people would ask questions. So the future queen, a princess of the realm, is missing under mysterious circumstances that need not be mysterious. Body doubles, AI videos, grainy images on a road where if you could take one picture, you could take another. Same as a picture of someone with their head turned looking at a brick wall in the back of a car. It's funny thing about digital cameras, if you could take one picture, you can take several. Kate Middleton's all over the English countryside and not one image of her from a member of the public. How is that possible? Even at the farmer's market, no one took a picture. And he would dare ask, or should I say, suggest that people should not ask questions about Kate. Anyway, I love the answer down there at the bottom. Instead of referring to Richard Eden as a reporter, you mean royal stenographer. Because that's what they do. They just take notes from the royal family and then they articulate a story with whatever story the royal family intends to share with the public. Speaking of sharing with the public, there you are. Dorothy Ross, if you look at the screen, you can see that I passed on the message for you. And again, we are all so glad for you and hope that from here on out, everything is smooth sailing, that you feel better and stronger every day. Well, yes, thank you. And thank you again for sharing that information. And Dorothy Ross, if it's no imposition, may I please have your mailing address? I don't know if you got my message or not, and I'm so bad about answering my own messages, but if you could please forward that to us. I'm going to give you the preferred email, and then just wait about 3 months for me to check it. I'm going to put the link on the screen, the email address. But yeah, if you could do that, we would appreciate it. Okay. Okay. That is the email that I would prefer you send it to. And I'm going to put that at the top of the chat. Well, hello, Dorothy. Well, hello, Dorothy. It's so nice to see you here where you belong. Hope you're feeling well, Dorothy. What the hell, Dorothy? See there? You even have a song. You have a song. Okay. Robert Jobson smells Dorothy. He's a whale, Dorothy. I don't know what any of that has to do with you. Ooh. Anyway. Okay, where did I leave off? Oh yes, I was talking about that rat, Richard Eden. That human rodent. Okay, so let me go to the next one. Now, it says here, there can be no clearer case of prejudice than judging an author not his writing, but on the color of his skin. Now, right there, Richard Eden, I think that he was trying to be Richard Luther King. I think he called himself being Richard Luther King. And of course, it's because of Omid Scobie's tweet. Oh, good. Another angry white guy writing about Meghan Markle. And of course, that is in reference to the book. I believe it was the book of Tom Barrow, who wrote a book of fiction about the Duchess of Sussex. So Omid called him out. And of course, Richard had to go and, put his 2 cents in. Oh, you're quite welcome. You're quite welcome. Let me see. Thank you so much, Mary H. And Sandra. I'm sorry, Sandra. And let me see who else. Okay. Oh, and Perlina answered. Thank you so much. Beverly McCaskill. All right. Yeah, you know what? I was thinking, I felt kind of bad that I came on so late. But I thought, well, that's a good chance that maybe Dorothy Ross will make an appearance. And she did. So there you go. And then, of course, let me finish with Richard Eden here. I genuinely worry that Prince Harry and Meghan's criticism of unnamed racist royals has increased the danger of attacks on the royal family. Security needs to step up as a result. I mean, Richard Eden shamelessly throws his blanket of protection and consideration. He's so thoughtful to all members of the royal family, so thoughtful to them. And yet, Harry, who is clearly a blood royal, gets no consideration whatsoever. Richard Eden says things like, oh, they should be stripped of their titles. A lot of times he just sits around, especially when they're doing that podcast, and he thinks of ways that the Sussexes could be emotionally injured. That seems to be his biggest preoccupation. How can we hurt Harry and Meghan and even their children? Because, and the reason why I say that is because if you're going after their titles, then that means that you're going to go after the children. Also, he was one of the reporters that made a big deal about Princess Lilibet's name. He has gone to war against the child over her name. I don't care whose name or where it comes from. But shame on you for doing that. And of course, they found what they considered to be the most unattractive image of Omid Scobie revealed. Harry and Meghan cheerleader-in-chief Omid Scobie has his company forcibly closed down by the Crown. Here's why. And now Omid Scobie is the darling of Hollywood. He had a bidding war for content for an upcoming project. Okay? Not to mention, have you guys seen Omid Scobie in the gym lately? Have you seen him? Omid Scobie is buffed. I mean to tell you, it's like there's the English version of Omid Scobie, and then there's Muscle Beach Omid Scobie. Right? And also for someone that's, what is Omid Scobie, 43 years old? 43 years old? Not bad, Omid. Not bad. Okay, wow, I see Prince Harry and Meghan's cheerleader Omid Scobie engages on Twitter with troll accounts that post highly defamatory allegations about the royal family and me. Disgusting. Well, Maureen, we could say the same thing about you, Maureen. Maureen's burner account, an account made to engage with the derangers, allegedly. Maureen. Okay, now this is the other side of Richard Eden. This is before the marching orders to go after the Sussexes. How about this one from 2019, where he says, intriguing follow-up by Dan Wooten in The Sun to my item last weekend about Prince William's friend Rose Cholmondeley, also known as Rose Hanbury. The thing is, between him and what was his name? Dan Wooten. Between Richard Eden and Dan Wooten, both of them were openly speculating about Rose. But of course, when that was shut down, all of the speculation stopped, right? Or how about the failed the Royal Bank of Scotland spin doctor Jason Knopf to be Duke and Duchess of Cambridge and Prince Harry's new secretary? Now remember, I have said many a time that Jason did not really work for Harry and Meghan. And when he went over to Kensington Palace in 2014, notice that first and foremost, it says the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge and Prince Harry. But Prince Harry already had a secretary at the time. I think his name was Fox or something like that. And it clearly says spin doctor. He was there to weave a web of deception and lies and coercion for the sake of Kensington Palace. I bet you Harry wasn't the one who hired him. I don't know what recommendations that this kid from Texas, who ends up in, New Zealand, who is in the same school at the same time as Dan Wooten. I don't know how he ended up at the Bank of Scotland and then finally going on to Kensington Palace. Interesting, isn't it? Mystery of the Duchess of Cambridge's alleged rural rivalry, the Marquise of Cholmondeley, former model wife Rose Hanbury. So again, Dan Wooten hitched his wagon to Richard Eden, who I believe was the one who started the whole thing. He's the one who started the whole thing. And we see how that turned out. Let me see. Still not reporting William's affair, Rich. No rose for you at midnight. So, as you can see, I don't know if this person is a squatty or not, but he's being called out. Fascinating move by the Queen, as many thought Camilla would have to wait until Prince Charles and king to join the most senior. Oh, that was when Camilla became part of the Order of the Garter, whatever. And then what's this last one? Prince of Wales company makes $4 million, talking about Prince Charles, of course, but gives nothing to charity. Do you see how he used to speak about that family? And I believe that article was the Telegraph. It wasn't for the Daily Mail. I believe it was for the Telegraph. I'm not done yet. How about this one? BAFTA boss quits following race and sex claim rouse as critics claim she has also become overfamiliar with William and Kate. And then further down, Kate and William hire ex-BAFTA boss to replace Jason Knopf as head of their charity behind their Earthshot Awards. They just move them around like chess pieces. Okay, let's move over. Richard Eden, why the truth of Taylor Swift's royal selfie is very different to what Harry and Meghan's Sussex squad would have you believe. You guys, this is proof positive that by bringing the pressure on that group of people called reporters, and of course the institution, if it doesn't matter what we do, if it doesn't seem like we're not able to, I guess, penetrate this shield that they have put up for Kate and William and all the rest of them, it's very interesting how they react. They constantly react to the things that we say. They react to it because they don't want people to ever pick up on a narrative that they have difficulty explaining away. And oh my God, I cannot see that for nothing. But let me try to zoom into that. Let me see. Okay, I can work this out. I got it. Okay, there it is. Disgusting that the new wave of trolling of the Princess of Wales is being encouraged by someone who featured on, oh, he's talking about Christopher Bosie. He didn't like actually, none of those people liked the fact that Christopher Bosie was actually making people question a lot of things about where is Kate Middleton. Oh, he was brilliant. Christopher was brilliant during that time, and that seemed to make them quake in their boots, and rightly so. So, okay, let's continue because I got more. But for the people who don't really know Richard Eden, I just want you to know what he's been up to all this time. Wow, I see Prince Harry and Meghan cheerleader Miss Scobie and okay, I did that one already. What's the other one? Meghan came to Britain thinking she would be a star, but we already have one. She's called the Queen, says a woman of substance writer in the royal slapdown to the Duchess. Okay. And when was that? That was 2022, January of 2022. Okay, who cares about that? What else we got here? Will this make Prince Harry and Meghan regret signing their multi-million-dollar deal with Netflix? What he's talking about is, remember the boycott of Netflix because of The Crown? Remember they were talking about boycott? And so he was one of several royal reporters who wanted the Sussexes to step away from, and we just talked about that yesterday. It would take a lot to make me walk away from $100 million contract. Seriously. Whatever it is, I will manage. Okay? I will manage, but I ain't about to give up that money. Okay, what else do we have here? Oh boy, now I really can't see that one. Oh, that's to beg for forgiveness. Never mind. The small prince said the Sussexes must acknowledge the hurt they have caused and the damage done. They should then apologize and beg forgiveness from Catherine and her husband, who deserve nothing less. Forget it. That ain't gonna happen. Oh, okay. I love these. Let me get to that. All right. Remember when Richard Eden lied and said Prince William and Kate gave Prince Harry and Princess Meghan a donation for Invictus Games, even though Maureen Eden knew it was only a transfer of Endeavor funds that Prince Harry raised? Okay. And that's another thing. The Derangers, they insist that William gave Harry the seed money for Invictus when Harry only required money that he raised for the, what was it, the Royal Foundation? That was Harry's money, money that was not being used for anything else. So once and for all, it was Harry's money. But because Richard Eden spent so much time speaking to derangers on Twitters, that talking point from the derangers became an article from Richard Eden. See there? Prince William, Kate gave Harry and Meghan $1 million donation for Invictus Game Foundation. Claims the royal family were neglectful have been turned on their head after Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's Invictus Foundation. And why is he saying Meghan Markle's Invictus Foundation? That is not her foundation. Received $1 million donation from the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge. That is a lie. That is a lie. He complained that I'd been using up all, I think this is from the book, right? That I'd been using up the funds in the Royal Foundation. That's absurd. I sputtered. I was told only a £500,000 grant would be needed to get the games going, a fraction of the foundation's money. Besides, it was coming from the Endeavor Fund, an arm of the foundation I'd created specifically for veterans recovery. The rest would come from donors and sponsors. Now, that was a lie. That was a complete lie. And yet, Richard Eden attached himself right on with the rest of the royal rodents, claiming that William gave money to Harry. It was money that Harry raised himself. It is breathtaking how easy, how flawlessly they are able to lie about things without any regret, without hesitation. They just flat out lie. I wonder if that was something that came up on the Royal ROTA WhatsApp group. And then, of course, throwing Meghan's name in there, that is not Meghan's Invictus Game Foundation. But in order to stoke hostility against Meghan, he just throws her name in there. He just throws her name in there for absolutely no reason whatsoever. Harry and Meghan's Invictus Foundation. How does that become Meghan? But they do that. And that is misogynoir. That is hostility and negativity against a Black woman for the sake of it. To get readers to engage in an article that is full of misleading things. Yes, thank you. They lie without concern. They lie without concern. And then you take a look there. The moment it all went wrong for Meghan and the Queen, Richard Eden reveals his, and you know what? The thing that really sold this was that picture. That picture. That's what sold the story. And of course, thanks to one of the squatties, I quickly went and found the side-by-side photo, and I put that, of course, on Twitter. If only a handful of people can find out that the Queen gives that, that death stare to just about anybody and everybody. I mean, it was just something the Queen did. She just kind of stared at people. She did the same thing for Eugenie's wedding. I mean, there she is with that you owe me money look. But in order to sell that particular article or whatever special podcast that he came up with, that photo was central to it. They have a handful of photos that they use to sell the story. And they've gotten quite a bit of mileage off of that one. Lex says, don't hear from the Royal Foundation anymore. You know what? You are so right about that. The Royal Foundation seems to have, I guess, melted into the wallpaper. You see it, but you don't see it. In this case, you just don't see it. Yeah, no mention of the Royal Foundation in ages. And the reason why is because there was no Royal Foundation without Harry. And they know that. They know that. Harry was the master fundraiser in that particular House of Windsor, Kensington Palace. He was the main fundraiser. Let me see. Psst. This is confidential. Are these two twinsies or what? If you want to know what inspired me, it was this. I think what is that? Scrabbers, got all the looks in the family, though. Okay. Oh Lord. I mean, you see it. You do see it. I mean, you can't miss it. You cannot miss it. Royal commentator Mr. Eden wrote, Prince Harry and Meghan do have some deeply unpleasant fans. It might be time for the Duke and Duchess of Sussex to condemn them. Richard Eden fumed on Twitter after Sussex fans' account with the handle Royals Sussex. That's not me, you guys. That's Royals _ Sussex. Trolled him for testing positive for COVID. The Twitter user shared a meme with the words, if he dies, he dies. I promise you that wasn't me. I promise you that wasn't me. But yeah, I didn't even know that he even had it until I found this today. I didn't even know I had that. I actually, a lot of times I will save stuff and sometimes I don't really look at it as much as I'm saving it because I think I might need it later. But oh man. Okay. Now I just said, oh, hi Fleur. Hi Fleur. Thank you so much for being here. I thought I saw you earlier. Let me see. There you go. There you go. Thank you so much for being here. So, Richard Eden, this is why I say that I think he is money hungry. Do you see this? I shared this with you last week. For just as low as $20, You can have Richard Eden give you advice, a pep talk, or answer questions as low as $20. Now, if he was not struggling right now, why all of these special Harry and Meghan, mostly Meghan videos? Why are you willing to say whatever people want you to say for just as low as $20? You couldn't even take Robert Jobson to lunch for $20. $20, you couldn't even go to Greg's or you couldn't even take him to McDonald's for $20. This man is broke. He's on E. He is literally driving on vapors. You have to really be in the dumps. And what shocked me is that on Palace Confidential, they shared this information, which I think is absolutely humiliating. He works for one of the biggest newspapers in the world. And he is so desperate for money that he's willing to give you a pep talk for $20. And I saw a sample of that pep talk, and I promise you, it's not even worth that. Richard Eden doesn't inspire much. He's no great orator. He definitely is not a positive person. If he was the kind of person that could be positive and uplifting, he wouldn't write the stuff that he writes. He wouldn't gossip about the things that he gossips about. There's nothing uplifting or positive about him. So pep talk, I don't see it. What is he going to pep you up for? How could he? He's one of the most awful people in the world. Why would anybody want a pep talk from him? This man is broke, poor, strapped, pinched, broke. Did I say that already? Destitute. He is literally scraping the barrel to survive at this point. I really do believe that. And he's also a member of the Hateful Eight, which includes, let me see, No Neck, Sad Little Man, Maureen, Piss Morgan. What is that? Is that Loose? Oh, Loose Gear? Loose Gear. What else? Jabba No Neck. Lying Levine and Dick Palmer. Yeah, so that is the Hateful Eight. That is the Hateful Eight. Now, I definitely will not take credit for this. I don't know who made this, but this was going around some time ago, and I thought it was the funniest thing. Yes, but ladies and gentlemen, the Hateful Eight. What a curious crew that is. Yep, the Hateful Eight. Let me see. When a toxic person can no longer control you, they will try to control how others see you. And that was posted today from Zandy Sussex. In case you're wondering why that family and his minions are still obsessed with Harry and Meghan in the year 2025. That is why. Okay. Now, I saw Prince Harry's rude side in Malawi. He was a patronizing idiot, and even his team were livid, expert slams. So that's Rihanna Mills, Sky News. They said that the clip was deleted, but not where I can tell that it was deleted, because I just watched it again. Several years ago, meaning, of course, when Harry was in Malawi, he had confronted Rihanna Mills because Rihanna Mills literally followed him to the car and was asking him some stupid question. I think it was, is it important to be here? Why is it important to be here? And Harry said, why don't you ask them? It was a stupid question. Now, if I'm correct, I believe that this is the same trip to Africa where Archie's nursery filled with smoke because of a faulty heater, they said. And during this thing where Rihanna Mills is telling people that Harry seemed to be angry, moody, or, whatever she thought of him, rude, I don't think she made any mention about the fact that the Sussexes were expected to perform when Meghan was clearly rattled because of what had happened to Archie. Now, again, I'm not sure where this fits into that timeline, but I just have to say, I noticed that was not mentioned either. But there was a lot of pressure on the Sussexes for that trip to Africa, during that trip to Africa. And there was a lot of things happening at Kensington Palace. Mostly the idea that they were trying to sabotage the Sussexes with the leaking and the briefing. There was a lot of leaking and briefing before the two royal households separated. So I want to say, what was it, 18 months? Was it 18 months that Meghan was in the United Kingdom as a princess of the realm? Anything from start to finish that may seem to have been a problem with the Sussexes, I do not blame them for it, because they were under constant attack within the household, outside of the household, and just about every place in between. So if Harry was in a mood, he was in a mood. So what? He's not the first member of that family to be in a mood, and he won't be the last member of the family. As a matter of fact, was this only reported because of the way his father treated the staff at Highgrove? Is that why this is a thing? Is this why we're remembering something from 5 years ago? Is that why all of a sudden our memories have been jarred? This has jarred our memories because Charles has been dubbed a bully. Is that why? Because that's the only thing I could think of. Because why all of a sudden is Rihanna Mills remembering something? Why is that important right now? Harry hasn't done or said anything that should have caused her to suddenly become so, I guess, hell-bent on describing Harry as a bully or an angry person. Harry just said, don't do this. That's all Harry told her. She is literally following him to the car. He couldn't even hardly open up the car because she's being so aggressive with her questions. And that right there, when Harry said, don't behave this way, she was disrespecting him. It has been well established that the royal rotas, that they do not throw questions at the royals in that manner. But because of the invisible contract, she had no cause to respect him anymore. One of the worst things that has been established about this hate campaign, or with this hate campaign, is that they have given license to the help, the courtiers, the help, to abuse family members, Harry and Meghan, and even their children. They have given a license to the royal reporters, to the royal rota. They have given them a license to go hunting. And what is their prey? The Sussexes. And even though they hadn't even left yet, but the agenda was already in place. Destroy, destroy, destroy. And clearly, she is a part of that. So she comes out in a big article in the Sun. This was in the Sun. I saw Prince Harry rude side in Malawi. He was a patronizing idiot, and even his team were livid. How long ago was Malawi? How long ago was that? Because Harry hasn't been there to be anything to you. And aside from people who, in all likelihood, drove his mother into that tunnel in Paris, I don't know who Harry has been rude to. I don't know who he's been aggressive with. Is this like a new campaign so that when William gets to the throne, we will forget his reputation? Is that what this is about? And I have to say, even though this is dredging up a whole bunch of old business, there was still a certain amount of reluctance to tell the story, but she did it anyway. She did it anyway. Oh, that was 6 years ago? Okay, 6 years ago. Yeah, 6 years ago, 2019, 6 years ago. My biggest frustration with the Royal Rota is in real time to watch them omit the circumstances. They will tell the story, but they never completely own up to the circumstances that made things happen. But she was the one being disrespectful. She was the one being rude. And Harry called her out because they're not supposed to do the old doorstep thing. You know, like when the salesman, the door-to-door salesman puts their foot in the door so you can't close it. She literally followed him to the car, barking questions at him, which was highly inappropriate. And he called her out. And she's the one saying that he was rude. I saw his angry side. It has been well established that the royal reporters do not bark questions at the royals, especially when there are cameras and they are doing their picturesque royal duty. But the one thing that they all have in common is everyone says that the Sussexes were doing brilliantly on that royal tour. And then all of a sudden, without explanation, there was a letter saying that they were going to sue, what was it, the Daily Mail or the Sun, and that then it was, and then they decided to step down. I don't know why they did that. Everything was just perfect. And all of a sudden, they just started acting so strange. I mean, they tell it. The royal reporters tell the story as though they are the victims. They have cast themselves as the victims. That is extraordinary, that they are both perpetrator and the victim. The fact that William gets to be, in their estimation, that William gets to be the favorite royal without any acknowledgement, of course they wouldn't, I wouldn't expect them to, without any acknowledgement of the invisible contract, the hate campaign, the deal to put the Cambridges, the Waleses, to put them up on a pedestal. And it's worked. It's worked. At least with the British public, it has been very effective. No one questions it. And why should they? So what's that been, 5 or 6 years of, or has it been 7 years? Harry and Meghan bad, William and Kate good. Every day there is a dose of that somewhere in the British media. You're going to encounter that every day. On a daily basis, you will encounter that. And I don't blame people for believing it. I don't blame them. I do not blame them. I blame the people that perpetrate the lie. Now, can you tell me, how is Robert Jobson sitting in that chair? Is he up against the chair? Is he leaning on the chair? Is there a chair? How was he in that chair? Did they use a shoehorn? Crisco? How did they get him close to it anyway? What is going on with that chair? How is he sitting? Is he leaning forward or is he leaning backwards? Is he leaning forward and backwards at the same time? I can't be sure. But I tell you what, if one of those legs would have popped out, I would probably have to go to the hospital. I'd have to go to the hospital. If those legs were to keep going, I would need some help. I would need some help. But I tell you, I would hope that they did not turn the cameras off before the fire department arrived. I want to see the emergency services get him up off that floor. If I don't see anything else this year, I have to witness that. I have to. I have to witness emergency services scoop him up off that floor. Now, don't ask me how I got this, but TSA, sometimes they are very, what's the word I'm looking for? They're very careless with their images. And somehow I got a TSA image of Robert Jobson rushing through the airport. Don't ask me how I got it, but I got it. This is TSA. This is Robert Jobson going through the TSA. Yep. You're welcome. And I don't know if you guys realize this, but Robert Jobson has a striking resemblance to the late leader of North Korea. A very striking resemblance. Striking resemblance. Also, that is Robert Jobson drowning his sorrows in that touch screen at McDonald's, a frequent haunt of his. And with that, you guys, I am going to say good night or good morning. God bless. Thank you for sticking around for 3 hours. It's been fun. It has been fun. Yep, I'm done, you guys. I know you can't believe it, but I'm done. Are you all still awake? I think some of y'all probably fell asleep, right? You know, I was just about to check to see what time it is in the UK. I promise you, I was about to check to see the time. So it's 10 a.m. in the UK. Wow, Lydia Washington, you're still awake? God bless you. All right. Well, I said I had a lot to say. Oh my, that's interesting. It is 5:09 a.m. Eastern time. Is it? And you guys know what? I am wide awake. The strangest thing is, earlier today with all the rain, I could not keep my eyes open. I kept dozing off and falling asleep. And then eventually I just got my second wind. Marshall says, imagine if there was a video of Rojo Jabba, the hut falling on the Oh my goodness. Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, I'd pay for that one. I'd do a pay-per-view for that one. Do you guys like the new Big Vino? The Big Vino instead of Big Ben, Big Vino. I think that they should replace Big Ben or the Queen Elizabeth Tower. I think they should replace that with a bottle of As Ever. Oh, thank you so much for being here, Dorothy Ross. And please don't forget, if you can get that address for me, I'd appreciate it. There's an email at the top of the chat. I mean, no pressure if you want to. I got so much paperwork I need to do this coming week. Best thing to do is just start one page at a time. Let's see, he's sitting carefully. The legs on the chair look precarious. Yes, it does. That is a great point. They continue the smear campaign because they know the royals are less popular, relevant to the people. Yeah, that is a great point. Thank you for that. Yeah, replace it. Just replace it. Joyce Anderson, thank you so much. Good Saturday morning to you too. A song, please. Oh, I don't know if I can. I think I'm all sung out for today. 'Cause I'm all cried out for you. All alone on a Sunday morning. Let me see. How does that song go? Outside I can hear the rain is falling. Inside I'm slowly dying. Da 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 da. Yeah, see, when I said I'm all sung out, it reminded me of that song. 'Cause I'm all cried out over you. And then the guy, you know, it's a duet. The guy says, didn't know that the grass was greener. Let me see. Oh God, I forgot the words. Let me see. I didn't know that the grass was greener. Oh, wow. Haven't heard this song in ages. I used to have a playlist. It was the best playlist in the world. The name of the playlist was called Duets. And it was all of my favorite duets. Do you hear what I'm saying? The playlist was called Duets. And it was every duet that I have ever loved, all on one playlist. If you ever want to create a playlist, especially if you like to sing along with the music, you have to create one called Duets. Yeah, Duets. That was my favorite playlist ever. It was Duets. That is so sweet. I love that. I love that. That is very sweet. You know, when I changed computers, I lost my playlist. I lost all my music. I don't know. I was desperate to get that. Do you remember the old computer when it just kind of went out? I was so desperate to get things going again. Now, I still have an old iPod, right? I still have an old iPhone around here somewhere. So I want to say that there's a playlist. I can find a playlist somewhere, but I'm really going to have to check one of my old computers, you know, so old and slowed down and everything. But if that playlist is there, then I got to find some way to transfer it. But yeah, I have lost access to my playlist, which is really too bad. But yeah, I used to have God, I'm trying to remember how many songs I had. And this was back when you had to buy the songs, or you could, you know, if you could record them. I had even bought one of those turntables where you can record the LPs. You could take the regular records and transfer it to a CD, and then turn that CD into an MP3. So yeah, I had that. It didn't have a thumb drive, so I couldn't do it directly to a thumb drive, but no matter. But yeah, I had bought one of those years ago. That's how serious I was about my music. But now I still have a bunch of CDs. I haven't thrown any CDs away. Dun 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 dun. Yeah, I don't really know that song. Let me see. Rain on My Parade lyrics. Don't tell me not to live. I simply just, no, I sit and just putter. Is that right? Don't tell me not to live. Just sit and putter. Life's a candy and the sun a ball of butter. Don't bring around a cloud to rain on my parade. Don't tell me not to fly. I simply got to. If someone takes a spill, it's me and not you. Who told you you're allowed to rain on my parade? I'll march my band out. I'll beat my drum. And if I'm fanned out, your turn at bat, sir. At least I didn't fake it, hat, sir. I guess I couldn't make it, but whether I'm a rose or sheer perfection, a freckle on the nose of life's complexion, the cinder of the shiny apple of his eye. That That is a good song. I never knew all the lyrics. Oh, that is a good song. Get ready for me, love, 'cause I'm a comer. I'm simply gotta march. My heart's a drummer. Don't bring around the clouds to rain on my parade. That is a good song. Mrs. Doubtfire. Hey, 612 people, we got to go. We got to go. I'm sure at least half of y'all are sleeping right now. I'm just sure of it. Sitting on the dock of the bay, watching the tides roll away. I'm just sitting on the dock of the bay, wasting time. I left my home in Georgia, headed to the Frisco way. 2,000 miles I roamed, and something doesn't roll away. Ooh, I'm just sitting on the dock of the bay, watching the tide roll away. Ooh, I'm sitting on the dock of the bay, wasting time. I can't even whistle. Okay, wait. Okay. I can't even whistle. Yeah. Okay. I guess my lips are tired. But I tell you what, if I can't whistle, I bet you Donald Trump's what is it, the press lady? I bet you she can't whistle either. If I find it hard to whistle, what is she capable of? Yeah, if I can't whistle, I bet you she can't either. Get ready for me, love, 'cause I'm a comer. I simply gotta march, my heart's a drummer. Nobody's gonna rain on my parade. I love Barbra Streisand. Barbra Streisand is like one of the most powerful voices ever. Isn't it just amazing that Barbra Streisand and Aretha Franklin both were at the same record company at the same time? Two of the most memorable voices in music history. And some years ago, Rolling Stones said that the best female solo artist of all time, the greatest singer of all time, not just female, just the greatest singer of all time, Aretha Franklin. Now that is impressive. And it's not just the songs, it's the complete body of her work. And the fact that everyone in the industry would kill to work with her. You know, it was just, she was very well respected. So I would say at the time that made sense. But now, of course, I don't know. But it made sense at the time. NJ, good morning. NJ, I am being kept on this live stream against my will. They won't let me leave. They have pulled every trick in the book. They even asked me to sing, and no, I can't turn that down. The closer I get to you, the more you make me feel by giving you all I got. Okay, I messed this song up already. Over and over again, I tried to tell myself that we could never be more than friends. But such and such, I forgot the words of that song too. That was one of my favorites, though. Lying here next to you, time just seems to fly. By giving you more and more, let's give love a try. Yeah, that is a great song. Oh, well, thank you, NJ, but I think we're going to call it a night. Plus, I need to rest my voice. Let me see. Yeah, well, speaking of rain, okay, I got to tell you guys, did you guys hear that there were parts of Chicago that flooded today or yesterday? I mean, that was a serious rainstorm. They had travel advisory and everything. But the weirdest thing is that it only affected a small area of, well, it was like a band of showers went through the city. Now, fortunately, I wasn't in the most affected area, but there are some places where things flooded. I mean, people were up to their knees in the water, and that rarely happens in Chicago. But they said it was like a month's worth of rain in one day, in like a half hour or something like that. And yesterday, I got caught in a flash storm. I was out shopping, and all of a sudden, it was like nighttime. Seriously, it was like nighttime. Oh, I love Gladys Knight. Gladys Knight has the most soulful voice. I mean, her voice. I mean, yes, Aretha Franklin, Queen of Soul, but when it comes to like that deep, rich sound of soul music, Gladys Knight, Gladys Knight. Oh my God, I love her voice. Love her voice. Oh, Marie G, thank you so much. I appreciate you wanting to listen later. Oh, yeah, there have been some very strange weather. I mean, these rainstorms and places that usually don't flood are flooding. Um, it's all very curious. It really is. It is very, very strange. Love, soft as an easy chair. Love, fresh as the morning air. One love that is shared by two, I found with you. like a rose under the April snow. I love this song, Evergreen. I was uncertain love would grow. And Jay, going forward in things, I'm going be okay. Well, thank you so much. Going forward in things, I appreciate that. And remember, memberships to Royal Sussex start as low as just $4.99 for the price of a cup of coffee once a month. If you gave up 1 cup of coffee within a month or a Happy Meal at McDonald's, you can support Royal Sussex. Okay. Okay, I'm going to say good night or good morning to you all. Thank you so much. And oh, what's that? I hadn't seen a hailstorm since a long time ago. Technically, there could be tornadoes in Chicago. We haven't had that many, but why they don't come to Chicago, I don't know. But gosh, that would be, could you imagine a tornado going through downtown Chicago? When I was a kid in grade school, we used to have to do the tornado drills where we had to go out into the hallway, sit on the floor. And of course, the fire drills, we had to go outside. Oh my God, I'm so glad I'm not a kid now. Active shooter drill? Oh my God, active shooter? I feel sorry for these kids. Okay, 30 seconds, you guys. 30 seconds. And we're going to say goodnight. I can only give you country walks in springtime and a hand to hold when leaves begin to fall, and a love whose burning light could warm the winter nights. That's all. That's all. Okay, and that's all. I figured we'd end with that's all. I can only give you love that lasts forever, and a hand to hold when leaves begin to fall, and a love whose burning light could warm the winter's night. That's all. That's all. There are those who I'm told who will tell you they would bring you the world for a song. All I have are these arms to enfold you, and a love that can last forevermore. Everybody all together. And if you're wondering what I'm asking in return, dear, you'll be glad to know that my demands are small. Okay, good night. That's all. That's all.